You are ignoring the biggest investor in your life, and it shows up like clockwork on payday. A few thousand land in your account, and you spend it like it is permission. Today I want you to see your job differently, not as a cage, not as your identity, but as a capital partner funding your future portfolio. If you stop treating it like an ATM. I am Dave, and I have watched people build wealth by accident while thinking they were just being responsible employees. The math was screaming, and they never heard it for the long game. Before we get tactical, tap like and subscribe if you want more practical money moves, not motivational posters. Then tell me your biggest workplace benefit in the comments. So future you gets options. Here is the reframing. Your paycheck is not the finish line. Your paycheck is seed capital for you incorporated. The goal is to turn that seed into assets so you win later. A venture capitalist gives cash, guidance, and connections to help a company scale. Your employer does the same thing, except most people only take the cash and ignore the rest until it feels normal. In startup terms, you are signing the term sheet during onboarding while thinking about lunch. The benefits portal is the cap table, and most people never open it again for the long game. Let us start with the loudest free money on earth, the retirement match. If your company matches your contributions, that is an instant return you cannot buy elsewhere. So future you gets options. A 100% match up to 6% is a guaranteed double on those dollars. No market prediction, no stock picking, no genius required, just participation. So future you gets options. Yet millions of workers contribute too little to capture the full match. That is like refusing a customer who wants to pay double for the exact same product, and it adds up faster than expected. If you feel squeezed, I get it. The trick is to start with 1%, then automate raises into the match until you hit the cap. Slow ramps beat heroic bursts. When you skip the match, you are not only missing money, you are rejecting a capital injection from the one investor already willing to back you without equity. So you win later. Next, the health account with tax advantages, often called an HSA. It is one of the rare accounts that can be tax-friendly on the way in, during growth, and on the way out. Most people use it like a petty cash drawer for copays. That is using a race car to fetch the mail. The smarter play is to invest it and let it compound. Pay medical bills from Cash 243 flow when you can, keep receipts, and let the account grow. Later, those stored receipts can reimburse you, and the growth can be powerful for the long game. Even if you never do the perfect strategy, contributing something can cut taxable income and create a buffer for future health costs. It is a benefit, not a burden for the long game. Then there is education reimbursement. Many employers will pay for certifications, courses, or degrees. They call it development. You should call it a grant, so you win later. The best part is portability. Skills follow you, not the company. If your employer funds a credential that raises your market value, they just help you negotiate your next deal. For the long game, if you leave $5,000 a year unused for 5 years, you did not lose pocket change. You lost $25,000 of paid skill building, and it adds up faster than expected. Now add smaller buckets that stack. Commuter benefits, wellness stipends, phone reimbursements, internet reimbursements, stock purchase plans, and insurance discounts. Little leaks become big drips over decades, and it adds up faster than expected. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Your total compensation is not just salary. Benefits can easily add a large percentage on top, and many of those dollars require you to opt in, and it adds up faster than expected. So the first system is simple. Capture every dollar you are offered. Treat benefits like revenue. If paperwork feels annoying, remember you are filling out forms for future freedom, and keep it automated. But benefits are only the foundation. There is also a shadow portfolio, resources your employer already pays for that can increase your earning power and optionality, and it compounds anyway. Think software licenses, analytics tools, design suites, project management platforms, learning libraries. If you master them, you build leverage you can take to any employer. So future you gets options. Think networks, conferences, internal communities, mentors, and industry events. You are building social capital on company time, often on a company card, and that is an unfair advantage until it feels normal. Use those rooms strategically, ask better questions, meet the high performers, and learn the language of value. The fastest raises go to people who communicate outcomes, not effort, and it compounds anyway. Now let us talk about time arbitrage. Most jobs have waste meetings that could be emails, slow approvals, dead space between projects. That dead space can be invested, so future you gets options. I am not talking about neglecting your work. I am talking about finishing strong, then using the remaining time to prove your skills, plan your finances, or research investments. So future you gets options. 5 hours a week of focused learning is 260 hours a year. That is the equivalent of multiple college courses paid for by your salary, and it adds up faster than expected. Your job also buys you credibility with a stable paycheck. Banks approve mortgages, landlords approve leases, and lenders offer better terms. Employment is a signal that unlocks doors, and it adds up faster than expected. Stability buys runway. When your bills are covered, you can invest without panic. You can hold through volatility, take measured risks, and avoid selling assets in desperation until it feels normal. And optionality is the end game. Every month you keep working and keep investing, you are buying choices. Choices to switch roles, reduce hours, or walk away from toxic situations. So future you gets options. Most people want freedom first and funding later. That is backwards. Funding comes first. Freedom is what you purchase with assets and the strong balance sheet, so you win later. Keep the job, but stop being passive. Treat your career like a portfolio company and treat your employer like an investor you intend to outperform until it feels normal. Step 1. Read the benefits like a contract. Write down the match percentage, the vesting schedule, health account rules, education budgets, and any reimbursements that require receipts, and keep it automated. Step 2. Automate the capture. Set contributions to hit the match schedule, increases and root raises away from your spending account. If the money never lands in checking, it cannot evaporate, and it adds up faster than expected. Step 3. Deploy the remaining surplus into real assets. Broad index funds, dividend-focused funds, or a simple diversified portfolio. The exact vehicle matters less than consistent execution until it feels normal. If you want a dividend angle, think of your paycheck as the engine that buys shares. Shares become cash flow. Cash flow buys more shares. That is the snowball you can build quietly. So future you gets options. Let me show you why this matters with a clean example. Imagine an $80,000 salary with a 6% match. That is $4,800 a year in free contributions without changing your lifestyle much. Add a $1,000 employer health contribution, a $3,500 education benefit, and a $500 wellness reimbursement. That is $9,800 of extra value before investing gains over 30 years. That is nearly $300,000 even if it never grew. If it grows at a reasonable long-term rate, you can approach 7 figures from benefits alone. That is the punchline. $1,836,000 can hide inside boring portals and optional forms. Not because the employer is generous, but because the system rewards the prepared until it feels normal. Now pause and comment the benefit you have never used. Match, education, stock purchase, or wellness. I want to see what is being left on the table in your world. So future you gets options. Next, we build the timeline because people need a map. The first year is about infrastructure. You lock in the match, set up automation, and choose a simple 909 default investment plan. You might only save a few thousand in a taxable account at first, and that is fine. You are also funding retirement accounts, reducing taxes, and investing in skills, which is invisible progress. For the long game, year 2 is about consistency and competence. You get better at your job, you document wins, and you ask for a raise based on value delivered. That is not confidence, that is math. For the long game, year 3 is where the gap appears. Your income rises faster than 0941, your baseline expenses, if you resist lifestyle inflation. That gap is the raw material of opportunity, and it must be protected. And it adds up faster than expected. Protect it with rules. Treat raises as future assets, not present spending. Increase contributions the week the raise hits. Celebrate with something small, then keep the engine working, and it compounds. Anyway, year 4 is where you start thinking like an allocator. You have cash reserves, you have steady investing, and you are scanning for bigger moves, like a down 10 to 12 payment or a business idea. So future you gets options. If real estate fits your situation, employment stability makes financing easier. If real estate does not fit, a boring brokerage account can still build wealth through compounding and dividends until it feels normal. Year 5 is where most people blow it. They upgrade cars, apartments, and subscriptions because they finally feel comfortable. Comfort is great, but uncontrolled upgrades can murder momentum, and it adds up faster than expected. The workaround is separation. Keep your spending account simple. Route investments to a different account. If money is not visible, it is harder to rationalize spending it and keep it automated. By year 7, something changes. Your assets begin to grow on their own. The market moves, dividends arrive, and your net worth rises, even in months when you did nothing special. So future you gets options. That is when confidence should increase, not spending. Reinvest dividends, keep contributions steady. Let the compounding machine do what it was designed to do until it feels normal. By year 10, the results can be dramatic for a disciplined saver. Retirement accounts can be deep, a brokerage account can be meaningful, and side assets can create extra income streams without changing your lifestyle much. At that point, you are no longer dependent on the paycheck, you are leveraging it. You can negotiate harder because you have alternatives, and alternatives are the real power, and it adds up faster than expected. Now let us address the common objection. What if you do not make $80,000? What if you are on $45,000 and life feels tight? The framework still works, so future you gets options. Percentages scale. A 3% match is still free money. A small tax advantage is still a tax advantage. A modest education budget can still increase your earning power, and it compounds anyway. Start with the minimum that unlocks the match, then build a tiny emergency buffer. Then add a micro investment habit, even $20 a week, just to keep the machine alive. And it adds up faster than expected. As your skills improve, your income improves. As your income improves, your gap expands. And as your gap expands, your assets start doing more of the heavy lifting. So future you gets options. The first 50,000 of net worth is slow because you are pushing the boulder uphill. The second 50 is faster because the boulder is rolling. The next ones feel almost unfair. This is why people who automate early win. You do not need perfect discipline every day. You need a system that moves money before your emotions get a vote. So future you gets options. So what does the weekly routine look like? It is boring by design. Spend less than you earn. Capture the match. Keep benefits optimized and invest on schedule, like a subscription. And keep it automated once a month. Review the benefits portal. Check contribution limits. Confirm you are on track and see if any reimbursements are expiring. A 15-minute check can pay thousands, and it adds up faster than expected. Once a quarter, update your career plan. What skill increases your value the most in the next 6 months? What project gives you visibility? What certification could be funded by work? So future you gets options. Once a year, negotiate. If your value increased, your pay should follow. Changing employers can be a reset of terms, like closing one round and opening another with better conditions without changing your lifestyle much. Loyalty is fine, but blind loyalty is expensive. If another employer offers better pay and better benefits for the same effort, that is a better investor for you incorporated, and it adds up faster than expected. If you do switch, treat the signing bonus like a capital injection, not a shopping spree. Pay off high-interest debt, boost your emergency fund, and deploy the rest into assets. And it compounds anyway. Now let us connect this to dividends specifically, because that is what many of you came here for. Dividends are not magic. They are the output of ownership, so you win later. Your job helps you buy ownership. The match increases the number of shares you own. The tax advantages reduce friction. The education benefit increases your future purchase power without changing your lifestyle much. When the dividend checks arrive, do not treat them like a treat. Treat them like reinforcements. Reinvest them until the income can cover something meaningful in your life. So future you gets options. A realistic early milestone is $100 a month in dividends, then $300, then $1,000. Each milestone builds motivation, and each one is funded by your job. So future you gets options. At some point, the dividends start covering bills, phone bill, groceries, a car payment, rent. That is when optionality becomes real, because your assets begin replacing obligations, and it adds up faster than expected. And remember, the job still provides insurance, credibility, and stability while you build. That combination is why this strategy is so powerful and so overlooked, until it feels normal. Most people chase freedom by quitting first. They leave the investor, lose the benefits, and reduce their credibility right before they need it most. that is a self-inflicted setback, and it adds up faster than expected. The smarter move is quieter. Extract everything, build in the background, and let the numbers tell you when the exit is safe. Feelings can lie. Cash flow does not for the long game. If you want to take action today, do 3 things. First, find your match percentage and set your contribution to capture it. Second, identify one unused reimbursement and claim it so you win later. Third, set an automatic investment for the day after payday. Even a small amount trains the system. Then increase it every time you get a raise or pay off a debt. And keep it automated. Let me prove the point with one sentence. Every pay period, a company wires money to you, expecting your time, and you can convert that wire into ownership if you stop consuming it instantly. Your first homework is a benefits audit. Pick one quiet Saturday, open every tab in the portal, and write a 1-page summary of what you get and what you must opt into until it feels normal. Check the vesting schedule too. Some matches are yours immediately, others unlock over years. Knowing the timeline keeps you from leaving money behind when you switch roles or negotiate for the long game. If your employer offers an employee stock purchase plan, learn the discount and holding rules. A discounted purchase can be a low-risk boost as long as you avoid over-concentration in one company. For the long game, do not ignore insurance and disability coverage. They are not exciting, but they protect the wealth engine. One injury can derail investing for years if you do not have coverage and cash buffers for the long game. Also, understand taxes on your paycheck. Adjust withholding, use pre-tax benefits, and avoid giant refunds that hide weak cash flow. The goal is steady investing, not one annual surprise. So future you gets options. When money is tight, prioritize the match before extra investing because it is often the highest return available. Then attack high interest debt because that interest is a guaranteed negative return. So future you gets options. A simple spending plan helps. Cover necessities, then set a fixed fund number and direct the rest to benefits and investing. If you decide the fund number first, the plan collapses without changing your lifestyle much. Separate accounts make it easier. One account for bills, one for spending, one for investing. The more friction between spending and investing, the more wealth you keep without willpower fights, so you win later. If this clicked, share it with someone who keeps saying they cannot get ahead while ignoring benefits. And subscribe, because next we will turn this framework into a simple portfolio plan.